Media Group Newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Bob Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. When the City of Clinton Council meets next week, an agreement for 2 years of support for flock security cameras in Clinton will be up for approval. Tony Harris is the Clinton City Administrator and indicates that this is an effort he has joined with the Clinton Police Department to provide security at Kiwanis Park.
Yes, like you said, it started with the Kiwanis Park. I was tasked with the duty of finding a camera for security out there. So, I looked at different avenues, talked to a couple different camera companies, and it was pretty expensive because we don't have the infrastructure out there for cameras. We'd have to run power out there, and where the cameras would be, we'd have to have like a computer for storage, things like that, which wasn't ideal. So when I was looking into that, I was contacted by the police department, like, hey, can we maybe partner with your project, because we're looking at cameras and license plate readers, those type of things. So then I agreed, and it made sense. I mean, all I need at the park is one camera that has 360 view, and it's a very sophisticated camera that can actually follow a person through the park, if it's after hours, just to see what they're doing. I partner with them, and then it morphed into where it is now with, I think it's 5 cameras throughout the city with license plate readers.
Harris calls this system good for Clinton because it helps with crime solving and data entry to better solve crimes in Clinton.
It's good for security for the city of Clinton, one being just visual aid, like for crime. It's not like we're going to be going out there and, very likely, we won't just be logging into the system and like, okay, who's passing through, who's leaving. It's only going to be used for if there's a crime. If there's an armed robbery or something like that, then, we've got possibly might have some eyes on the vehicle and hopefully a license plate where we can solve that crime. And the system is sophisticated. Like we have a major crime, like I mentioned, the armed robbery, and we witness it. It's a Chevy Impala with a broken tail light. The system is so smart, we can put that data in it, and it will find every Chevy Impala with a broken tail light that went through the camera. I believe there is, and just that intelligent data where we can feed that in, and then it's going to feed it right back out to us.
Yeah. While he didn't know exactly where they are located in Clinton, Harris indicated the flock cameras are on the community's main arteries.
Now it will notify us, like if there's a dangerous felon that their plate's been tagged or something like that. It will notify us. Doesn't mean that we're going to go make an arrest, but we will get notified that this person, that the police have tagged the vehicle for whatever. And if it's a warrant, maybe, they would go make the arrest. I don't know all the details on that, but no, we are not going to be just following the citizens of Clinton and those type of things. It's a piece of security. If there is a crime that's been committed, that it would be a tool that we would look at to possibly solve that crime. I would, but I don't really know off the top of my head. I don't have that in front of me. It's some of the major entrances throughout the city.
Many may wonder about security cameras on the square. Harris is taking a wait-and-see approach to see if the current cameras are effective. Additionally, the flock cameras come at a pretty high price tag.
We do have security on the square. It's not detailed security like what we have or what we're proposing now at the park. But what my thought is, and that was brought up several times, let's get this in place. We'll see how it works. Then if we expand, and then the square would be a place that I would definitely want to expand it. Now, it comes at a cost. It's like roughly $3,000 for the one piece, another $500 for the license plate reader. So $3,000 or $3,500 a year, which I say it comes at a cost, but to secure the city like that, it's, I think it's well worth it.
According to Harris, there are agreements in place under which the city must use the cameras within reason. He indicates that those agreements are in place to prevent government overreach in its use, a concern raised by several citizens during this process. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Social Security joins initiative for access to health records. Producers everywhere are constantly thinking about the future of their farm and who will continue the operation. Terry Casey, director of the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, explains that they will host a free webinar tomorrow at noon. This entry is in the succession planning series and explores innovative pathways to advance the next stage of succession planning.
Pretty interesting set of programs about succession planning. When we know that we've got a generation of folks who are starting to transition out of their businesses, and they're looking to plan for how they're going to turn those businesses over or do something different with them. So we had a whole webinar series devoted to this. And actually on March 24th from noon until 1 p.m., again, it's a webinar and it's free. It's going to be all about those types of topics. This one's going to be about discovering innovative pathways that advance the next stage of succession planning. So traditional succession planning is something that we should always be planning for, even before retirement, because we never know, life can happen. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important for businesses to be looking at, what kind of models can they do? Do they have somebody maybe within their own office who's interested in taking the business, a family member who's interested in it? But you may have to go innovative. Maybe you don't have a family member interested in it, or you don't have somebody currently in your employ that would want to do that. So this webinar will look at some of those other ways that you can plan for survival of your business if you're not there. And again, that webinar is free. It is March 24th from noon to 1.
Still to come in this series are succession through shared ownership on April 7th, as well as 2 more sessions in April and May. Casey indicates they are diving into topics people want to hear about, which aligns with the need that inspired the series.
Yeah, we already had the first one on March 10th, which was about American business emerging trends, risks, and opportunities. Mm-hmm. Then we had this one about innovative planning. And then on April 7th in the series, there's going to be succession through shared ownership, exploring ESOPs and employee-led transitions. I don't know what an ESOP is, so I think that would be an excellent opportunity to learn about them at the workshop on April 7th. Yeah, actually, and this whole series came about from a request across the state of Illinois in the field from business owners who not only are trying to plan for the next steps as they might transition out, but also transitioning their business into new markets or transitioning into new fields of interest or expanding their professional services. So yes, there are 2 more. There's business succession for a strong rural community. And this talks about co-ops as an option. And then on May 5th, there is sustaining local commerce, the role of community-supported enterprises and business retention. So this looks at how the community can support those efforts to retain those businesses, because we don't want to lose them. We don't want to lose our local plumbers. We don't want to lose, our insurance agent that we've come to know. We don't want to lose those very trusted, those folks. How can a community support those transition efforts?
Right.
Yeah, this has been very, very sought after. A lot of folks have requested it. And I think it's just a trend that we're going to continue to see as businesses are making these handoffs.
To learn more about the succession planning webinar series and other succession planning resources from the Extension, visit extension.illinois.edu/LMS. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
March into Baum Chevrolet Buick and march out with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have over 20 Silverados to fit your daily work needs in 1500, 2500, and 3500s in gas or diesel, all sale priced. Also, check out the Colorado pickup. This size and maneuverability may be another option as well. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
News time is 19 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Social Security Administration has joined the Trusted Exchange Framework and Common Agreement, or TEFCA, an initiative led by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to improve nationwide health information exchange. Jack Myers with Social Security explains that they have selected eHealth Exchange as its Qualified Health Information Network, or QHIN. This means Social Security will now have access to additional national interoperability networks, enabling faster and more secure acquisitions of electronic health information.
It stands for Trusted Exchange Framework and Common Agreement. So it's an initiative that's led by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And really what it involves is access to electronic medical records. You know, how many of us now, when we go to the doctor, we have a portal we can log into, we can see our results and all that sort of stuff. Well, this is all kind of related to that. So basically, this is a way for Social Security to have access to medical portals so we can get more information. We've partnered with eHealth Exchange as our Qualified Health Information Network. But you know why it really matters to the public is because it's going to give us faster access to more medical records.
According to Myers, this advancement is critical for Social Security, which administers the largest disability benefit program in the country, supporting millions of Americans each year. SSA receives approximately 2 million benefit claims annually, each of which requires objective medical evidence for determination.
What that means is when you file for disability from Social Security, we need your medical records as part of that application. And now there's a good chance we can get it faster because of this agreement. So that's really bottom line why it's important. This gives us, or should give us, access to, you know, approximately 70,000 medical groups, 75% of hospitals and health systems, 90% of dialysis centers. So theoretically, this should mean that we can get your records faster, which means that we can make a medical decision faster. We still need your permission, so don't worry. You know, you have to give us consent to request that, but it's just part of the disability application process. And hopefully, like I said, this will make the decision process faster because it makes access to your medical information better.
For more on Social Security, visit ssa.gov or find them on social media. Illinois Farm Bureau President Philip Nelson heads to the nation's capital this week.
We've had a invitation. We're actually going to meet with the Secretary of Agriculture for breakfast and then head over to the White House to meet with the president, which I think is, you know, pretty important, especially at this juncture time with the nation's biggest industry. I think he wants to hear from farmers, what's going on, what can he do? And I think the timing on this meeting is going to be impeccable that we get our points of view across to him.
Nelson will be in Washington next Friday. Illinois' retiring U.S. Senator does not agree with the Trump administration's move to bomb Iran. While the U.S. and Israeli forces continue Operation Epic Fury, the Iranian regime has hit back, closing the Strait of Hormuz, sending oil prices soaring. Dick Durbin, who's in his final term, believes there was no imminent attack planned by the Iranian regime.
Well, listen, imagine this. Russia invades Ukraine 4 years ago, killing innocent people, kidnapping children. Under the previous administration, we were clearly on the side of the Ukraine. I'm not sure where we are today. As a result of high gas prices, President Trump has decided that we're going to lift the sanctions on Russia. Lift the sanctions on Russia. and so that they can make billions of dollars off of Americans in other countries while they're fighting this war against the innocent people of Ukraine. Did anybody think this through in the White House? I don't see any indication they did. There is no imminent attack in hand on the United States or our allies. Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, has wanted the United States to lead this attack on Iran for a long period of time. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, the same thing you say about Iran, you can say about North Korea. Should we attack North Korea tomorrow without any discussion in Congress? I don't think so.
As of last Friday, the average price of a gallon of gas in Illinois was $4.11 compared to $2.97 a month ago, according to AAA. A recent USDA Ag Outlook Forum panel provided views from various federal sectors on what farm security and its role in national security looks like. Rod Bain reports. Now for your local obituaries. Ralph Greider, 87, of Anchor, Illinois, passed away at 6:12 a.m. March 21st at his home in Anchor. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Marla R. Elderton, 76, of Clinton, passed away at 9:58 a.m. March 20th at the Ark at Normal in Normal, Illinois. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Larry W. Wickenhauser, 84, of Hayworth, Illinois, passed away at home Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. Visitation will be held at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday, March 23rd, 2026 at the Calvert Bangley Bruce Funeral Home in Hayworth, Illinois. A memorial service will follow at 1 p.m. also at the funeral home with Pastor Carl Johnston officiating. Memorial donations may be made to the Hayworth American Legion or Hayworth Fire and EMS. Calvert Bangley Bruce Funeral Home of Hayworth is assisting the family with arrangements. Paul Michael Schmid, 65, of Waynesville, passed away March 17th at his residence in Waynesville. A visitation was held yesterday from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Our Lady of the Prairie Parish St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Wapella. Graveside services will be 10 a.m. Saturday, March 28th at St. Patrick's Cemetery in Wapella, with Friar Tomek Sistolik officiating. The family entrusted Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton with arrangements. Memorials may be directed to the Wapella Fire Department, DeWitt County Community Mental Health Board, or a charity of the donor's choice. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. 2 pilots are dead, at least 39 people hurt. A crash last night on a runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The airport now closed. An Air Canada regional jet had just landed from Montreal when it slammed into a fire truck, crushing the plane's nose. The NTSB is leading the investigation. There's word of an extension of President Trump's deadline for destroying Iran's electrical grid. Mr. Trump now says the U.S. will hold off on any power plant strikes for 5 days. Mr. Trump indicating there has been some movement in talks between the United States and Iran. Previously, Iran had vowed to target regional power plants and put mines in the Persian Gulf if the U.S. should bomb its generating stations. Now, the indication of some movement in talks has sent stock futures sharply higher. They had been in the red. The Dow futures up more than 1,100 points. SRNnews.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Today, with daytime highs approaching 50. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Tonight, lows level off around 31. Daytime highs approaching 58. Tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 31 degrees.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The Illinois Fighting Illini fell in its series finale to Rutgers 8-3 on Sunday afternoon at Illinois Field. After taking the first 2 games in the series, Illinois held a 3-0 lead in Game 3 before the Scarlet Knights scored the final 8 runs of the afternoon. The Orange and Blue now sit at 12-10 overall and 4-5 in Big Ten play. Colin Jennings collected a multi-hit day at the plate, going 2 for 4 with an RBI double. Michael Farina and Jack Zebig accounted for the Illini's other 2 RBIs. On the mound, Aiden Flynn registered the longest start of his career, throwing 5 shutout innings with only 2 hits allowed. Ty Pence led Illinois State with 23 points, and Johnny Kinziger hit a game-winning 3-pointer with 1.7 seconds left as the Redbirds knocked off Wake Forest 78-75 on Sunday in the NIT. Kinziger at the top of the key worked around a screen by Chase Walker and a 3 from the left wing to cap the scoring. Illinois State improves to 22-12 and plays at Dayton in the quarterfinals. Penn shot 8 of 11 from the field, including 3 for 4 from three-point range, and went 4 for 4 from the free throw line for the Redbirds. Kinzinger finished with 19 points and 5 assists. Walker shot 5 of 11 from the field and 5 of 5 from the free throw line to finish with 15 points. Trayvon Spillers led the way for the Demon Deacons, who finished the season 18-17 with 24 points and 8 rebounds. Duke Harris added 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists for Wake Forest. Omaha Billu finished with 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Walker scored 8 points in the first half for Illinois State, who went into halftime tied 32-32 with Wake Forest. Pence led Illinois State with 17 points during the second half. Philip Forsberg scored his second goal of the game at 1 minute and 5 seconds of overtime to lift the Nashville Predators to a 3-2 win over the Chicago Blackhawks on Sunday. Forsberg stole the puck from Andrei Burakovsky behind the Chicago net, skated to the left side, and fired a high shot past Spencer Knight for his 32nd goal, giving the Predators their longest winning streak of the season at 4 games. Forsberg also set up Steven Stamkos' team-leading 34th goal that tied it at 2 at 9 minutes and 43 seconds of the third period, about 11 seconds after a high-sticking penalty to Connor Bedard expired. Stamkos notched his third goal in 2 games by redirecting Forsberg's pinpoint pass off the right post and in. Bedard scored his team-leading 29th goal, and Nick Lardis connected as the Blackhawks lost their second straight. Nashville is 5-1-1 in its last 7 and improved to 75 points and held on to the second Western Conference wildcard slot. The Predators were last place in the NHL on December 8th. Knight made 30 saves. Juice Saros blocked 26 shots in his return from an upper body injury. Lardis opened the scoring at 4 minutes and 34 seconds of the second period to cap a 2-on-1 break. His pass, intended for Frank Nazar, deflected in off the stick of Nashville defenseman Nicholas Haig. Forsberg tied it at 1 just under 2 minutes later, sweeping in Jonathan Marchessault's feed as he cut down the slot. Bedard scored with 6 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second to restore Chicago's lead at 2-1. Blackhawks defenseman Matt Grelchek left in the first period after a shoving match with Nashville's Eric Haula. Anton Frondell, the number 3 pick in the NHL 2025 draft, should join the Blackhawks on the road this week. Coach Jeff Blashill said before the game the arrival of forward Sasha Boisvert, one of Chicago's 3 first-round picks in 2024, remained undetermined as he awaits immigration clearance. The Predators host San Jose on Tuesday, while the Blackhawks visit the New York Islanders on Tuesday. Andrei Stojakovic scored 21 points, and the number 3 Illinois Fighting Illini beat 11th-seeded VCU Rams 76-55 on Saturday to advance to the Sweet 16 for the second time in 3 seasons under Brad Underwood. Tomislav Ivasic had 14 points and 11 rebounds, and Keaton Wagler chipped in with 14 points for the Fighting Illini, who improved to 26-8. And advanced to face South Region number 2 seed Houston, an 88-57 winner over Texas A&M. Illinois, which had a huge height advantage, held VCU to 35% shooting and out-rebounded the Rams 45-29. The Illini blocked 5 shots. Terrence Hill Jr. had 17 points for VCU, who finishes the season 28-8. Illinois bolted to a 20-8 lead after VCU's Nick Lewis sprained his ankle in the opening minute of the game and did not return. Illinois took control late in the first half, with Stojakovic scoring all the points during a 9-0 stretch to close the half. He finished with 16 points in the half, including a dunk to punctuate the run. The Illini pushed their lead to 17 early in the second half after a highlight reel high-flying transition dunk from Zvonimir Ivasic off a feed from Kylan Boswell. Hill had 34 points in VCU's win over North Carolina, so the focus of Illinois was to shut him down. Illinois is 3-2 all-time against Houston, but the Cougars won the most recent meeting 68-53 in the second round of the 2022 NCAA tournament. The Illinois State baseball program recorded a conference opening series sweep over Belmont with a 9-3 victory over the Bruins Sunday afternoon at Duffy Bass Field. With the win, the Redbirds improved to 17-7 and have tallied 9 consecutive victories. 5 Redbirds tallied 2 hits in the victory as Illinois State recorded double-digit hits for the 9th straight game with 12 on Sunday. Redshirt sophomore Braden Bakes tallied his 8th straight game with 2 or more hits and added his 4th home run of the series in the win. Junior Luke Stolga recorded a pair of hits, including a double and a triple, and has notched 2 hits in 5 of the last 6 games. Graduate Camden Karchewski tallied 2 doubles in the victory to push his career longest hitting streak to 11 games. Junior Ryan Bakes added 2 hits and a pair of RBIs to move his hitting streak to a career best 5 games. Bakes has recorded an RBI in all 3 contests in the series. Senior Nolan Berry tallied his 5th multi-hit performance of the season with 2 hits in the win. Redshirt freshman Luke Teschke earned his first victory of his career with a career-best 6 innings pitched. Teschke added 4 strikeouts and limited the Bruins to 2 hits and 1 run scored. Catcher Reese McGuire rejoined the Chicago White Sox on a $1.2 million one-year deal the team announced on Sunday. The 31-year-old McGuire was released by Milwaukee earlier in the day after signing a minor league deal with the Brewers in late January. McGuire spent the last season with the Chicago Cubs, where he hit .226 with 9 homers and 24 RBIs. He was with the White Sox during the 2022 season. A first-round pick by Pittsburgh in 2013, McGuire is a .248 career hitter with 25 homers over stints with Toronto, the White Sox, Boston, and the Cubs. He has thrown out 27.1% of attempted base stealers in his career. In scores from around the NCAA tournament from Sunday, 2-seed Purdue beat 7-seed Miami 79-69, while 2-seed Iowa State beat 7-seed Kentucky 82-63. 5th-seeded St. John's upset 4-seed Kansas 67-65, while 6th-seeded Tennessee upset 3-seed UVA 79-72. In a bracket buster, number 9th-seeded Iowa upset top-seeded Florida 73-72, while 1-seed Arizona beat 9th-seeded Utah State 78-66. 2-seed UConn beat 7th-seeded UCLA 73-57, while 4th-seeded Alabama beat 5th-seed Texas Tech 90-65. In NBA scores from Sunday night, the Denver Nuggets beat the Portland Trailblazers 128-112, while the Sacramento Kings took down the Brooklyn Nets 126-122. The New York Knicks beat the Washington Wizards 145-113, and the Boston Celtics fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves 102-92. The Phoenix Suns routed the Toronto Raptors 120-98. In scores from the NHL last night, the Winnipeg Jets beat the New York Rangers 3-2 in a shootout, while the Colorado Avalanche beat the Washington Capitals 3-2 in overtime. The Carolina Hurricanes routed the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-1, while the New York Islanders beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 1-0. The Las Vegas Golden Knights beat the Dallas Stars 3-2, while the Anaheim Ducks beat the Buffalo Sabres 6-5 in overtime. The Calgary Flames beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 in overtime, while the Utah Mammoth beat the LA Kings 4-3 in overtime. Get highlights of your local high school programs by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLois Yonke.